Hello there. Today we're reviewing Goldcock. You know, you grow older, you think you grow wiser, go through a couple of career changes, and then all of a sudden, you know, this lands on your desk and you realize that you're basically still just 11 years old. Today we're doing world whiskeys. And we have got a lineup of 5 whiskeys that are not from America, they're not from Ireland, they're not from Scotland. No, these are from other places, so they all go together. We have got Eifel from Germany. We have got Black Canvas Series from Gouden Carolus in Belgium. We have got Goldcock Peated from the Czech Republic. Paul John Bold from Goa in India. And we have got Rozelieures from Alsace. And, the Paul John comes with a nifty gift box, complete with Glencairn. Gratefully accepted. Let's get this thing started. These are all from various places. Some of these are from online retailers. Some of these were just from, lucky grabs from the Binny's closeout shelf. But they're all kind of interesting in their own way. Let me get these things poured, and we'll get these started. I didn't know what order to go with on these. We're kind of going up in strength, but also like in terms of peating level. Oh, right. One warning about the Goldcock is it's actually glass cork. It's got a kind of a wooden topper, but glass cork. So be aware, tugging on your Goldcock. We'll keep recording. Trying to remove your Goldcock top normally, it's not going to work. You have to push it to the side, just kind of, and it'll come right off. Be aware. I'm going to try to keep it clean. Try to keep the jokes to a minimum in this episode. All right, so last pour. And we begin in Germany. Eifel. This is their 2021 edition. And this is a distillery in, what is the town in this? Koblenz, in the Rhineland. This actually got imported to the U.S. by Anthem Imports, which is kind of cool. And it's a German single malt whiskey. They use a short, old school column still for this. No color added, no chill filtration, 46%. And the cask choices are very interesting. This is an 8-year-old. And it spent its first 4 years in ex-Bordeaux, but American ex-Bordeaux, which is very unusual. You basically never ever see American oak being used for Bordeaux maturation, but they're saying that's what we have here. And then they were all re-racked in cream sherry casks. Cream sherry has kind of a bad reputation, undeservedly so. It's a fun style, but basically it's a mix of Oloroso with PX. That's a little bit of PX, not too much. So it's a sweeter but not like painfully sweet style of sherry. So 8 years old, German, and well presented and very well priced on the Binny's closeout shelf. And it's a spicy boy on the nose. I mean, it's the cream sherry is present. Fruitcakes all day long. So dried fruit, figs, prunes, all the dried fruit. Sorry. I've been hanging on to this cough for like 2 weeks. It's really starting to bug me. Turkish coffee, most definitely, like a really cardamom rich, like coffee where you got out the the little hand grinder and just went at it for way too long. Coffee cake, a little bit of like pastry cinnamon. But don't think the red wine casks are not creeping in here. There's also a lot of black pepper. Kind of leafiness, sage, parsley, kelp, frosted flakes, weirdly enough. I'm going to try to say this in like a very... How do I say this in a way that doesn't sound catty? It's a very Swanee style of malt. Oh, it's... Don't
look at me.
This is my daughter. Hold on. Sorry, today is a day off for CPS, and my daughter is home, and she's being very good, but she decided to bring me some ice cream. So that's going to sit right there until I finish the video. What was this? Yeah, so, I mean, when I say like it's a Jim Swan style kind of a nose, I don't mean that in like a bad way. I mean it's Jim Swan absolutely elevated the level of malt whiskey, and I don't want to deny that. But this smells very, very, very fruity and clean as far as the distillate goes, and it doesn't mean there's not edginess, but a lot of the character is just coming from the maturation. Like that's kind of what I think of when I think of kind of, you know, those styles. It's a little Swanee, but not in a bad way. But if you know the style, you know what I'm talking about. There's kind of a purple NyQuil going on here, but nice. Dried cherry, but also like dried strawberry. There's a little bit of like a Kellogg Special K thing. Toasted marzipan. A little bit of savoriness coming from the sherry, but it's very we're on the sweeter side of the spectrum. So there's some just a little bit of like an old leather belt kind of coming in to kind of balance off the fruitcakey elements, and a little touch of campfire, just a little like a burned twig here and there on the palate. Ooh. So first thing to say, as for $30 on the Binny's closeout shelf, I'd say this is a buy. It's very sherried, it's very Swanee, but it gets a little bit weird on the back end. That's going to turn some people off. I'm fine with it. You get a little bit of just on the transition from the mid palate into the finish, you get a little bit of like a leafy, unripe strawberry thing, and tons of black pepper, just kind of like cropping up to really dry out the finish. But it works. It pretty much mostly works. And I have to think it's a minority that are really going to be turned off by that note. Besides that, that is fun. It's super clean up until that point. Werther's Originals with Turkish coffee and not so much Frosted Flakes this time. This is more of a cinnamon toast crunch kind of play. Dried fruit, prune, cherry, raisin, fig, strawberry. Kind of like a marzipan thing, like a toasted marzipan thing again. Slightly savory, just like a little teeny tiny quarter teaspoon of Bovril or something like that, just a little bit. Yeah, and that kind of leafy herbal thing, tying in with the unripe strawberry I mentioned. It's certainly cask driven. again, like it's very swanny, but it's certainly very good at the same time, and that what I'm assuming is the red wine influence on the back end of this makes it a little bit of an original. I kind of like this. I'm darn curious to see what water does to this, because I could see it going either way. Like if the sherry comes out, then you've got a big old raisin bomb, and if the red wine comes out, then you've got a big old herbal strawberry bomb. We'll see where this goes. Glass number 2. This is Gouden Carolus, which is also a name of a beer triple from Belgium. It's the same brewery, only it's like the side distillery, which is named, I wrote it down somewhere, De Molenberg in, I can't even read the name of the town, Willebroek. I apologize to Belgium. 46%. So this thing, it's called the Black Canvas Series, and it's basically 1,500 bottles split between 3 different little artworky things in the front. Very hard to find information on this. It's a 50 centiliter bottle, 46%, and I know absolutely nothing else about it. I don't know the age, I don't know the cask type, because they're not telling me. They do mention, however, that the underlying malt, that's the basis for this, is that Gouden Carolus triple. So they're basically distilling that. I don't know if they're distilling it with hops, with all the fetters that would come with it, but that is the basis for this. Ooh. And the nose of this thing is extremely bright. Lemony stuff, lemon drops. It's like lemon candy, but also like lemon peel, like a little twist of lemon in there. Oh yeah, some orange coming through as well. Orange peel. Some kind of a light grass clippings kind of thing happening too. Vanilla. I would guess there's a fair amount of some kind of American oak in this. It's floral, kind of fresh flowers kind of thing. Clover honey. Guatemalan coffee. Just fresh brewed. Honestly, this could pass for Ireland. It really could. It's got that same kind of like lemony, grainy, fruity character to it. Some kind of oatmeal stuff. Maybe like some oatmeal with a few berries sprinkled in. Brown sugar. Like fresh tea bags. Unbrewed Lipton tea bags. Cinnamon. Little hint of like an whole aniseeds. Yeah. It really could pass as Irish. Like the fresh, bright, lemony, grainy character on this is really, it's really like sending my brain in that direction. On the palate. Oh, I was about to make an ice cream joke there, but that cut me off. This has a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde aspect to it. Arrives very, very, very Irish. But then on the back end, there's this huge, like sour, funky twist. I mean, it finishes like a Belgian triple. I mean, it really does. What is that? Is that? It could be. I can't tell if that's like a yeast thing, or maybe like some of the hops made it through distillation. Oh, That is such a delightful surprise. I was talking about how this had an interesting twist, going into the finish. This Gouden Carolus is even more so. So arrives vanilla, clover honey, lemon drops, orange. What are the orange slice candies? Is that it? Oatmeal again, like a lot of the stuff from those. Flowers, grass, coffee, tea bags. And then the back end, there's this enormous clove, raw aniseed, barley sour attack that really takes over. Ooh. Black pepper too. Something burnt, almost like a burned sourdough bread kind of thing. In some ways, doing the same thing as the Eifel, with that kind of really accessible, present sweet kind of arrival, turning into something a little bit more austere. But even more so, this is, this is putting a smile on my face. I'm not sure how many. I'm pretty sure lots of people would really dig the Eifel if they gave it a chance. This I'm not so sure. There are a lot of people. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of traditional malt fans that are not going to like this. On the other hand this to a traditional Belgian ale fan. I don't know. This is put a pin in this one. We're going to add some water and we'll come back, because now it is time for Goldcock. Oh, Goldcock. Wait, I have notes, because the back of this thing is entirely in Czech, and I do not read Czech, but I found a translation. Which I found very useful, which actually gives you some information on what the heck this is. So here we go. So this Goldcock Peated here is heavily smoked to 30 parts per million of peat, and it is from the Brutál malthouse. Distilled twice. I should make a note. This is a very old brand. It goes back to the Cold War. But it's recently been taken over by the Jelínek distillery of Vizovice fame. I've done lots of other Jelínek reviews. I love their stuff. This is the first whiskey I've tried from them. But it's not originally their brand. So they distill twice, meaning I don't think this is at least entirely column distilled. I think at least some part of this goes through a batch distillation. And the new make is put into barrels of European winter oak, which is another name for Cecile oak. And then it is bottled at 45% alcohol. There are other versions of this, bottled at, I think, 49.2. I got the 45 version, which I think is more recent. In fact, this batch is labeled L030822, so bottled circa 2022. All right. And there is a kind of an age statement, even though it's not on the bottle. It's our youngest whiskey, but never aged for less than 4 years. So take this as a 4-year-old. All right, here we go. Goldcock Peated. Single malt Czech whiskey. Ooh. Fun. Very fun, actually. So it's a fudgy peat. This is not Islay. This is closer to Ardmore in style, but there's also something else to this. It's not evergreen like some of the recent peated whiskeys I've had. This is more like burning houseplants. Imagine somebody set a whole bunch of ferns on fire. That's a little bit of the vibe on the peat for this. But there's also a lot that really kind of nods in that Ardmore direction. There's little hints of barnyard. Like there's some horses and pigs wandering around in the background. Then vanilla fudge. There's a little bit of a floral, like a little bit of a potpourri kind of character. Chocolate orange. Quite a lot of fruit actually as well. Peach cobbler. Oriental tobaccos. Something, a little bit of a campfire thing too, like some burned twigs. It's super fun, but it's also approachable. It's not expensive. This is under 40 euros. So, if hey, big girl, what's going on?
I'm trying to put this away.
Okay, can you put it back in the closet though?
Super duper heavy.
She's 6. Yeah, it looks really. Look how strong you are.
Oh man.
I believe in you. You're my hero. Yeah, it's
Oh my
after 40 years, this is more than I was expecting.
God, that actually hurt.
On the palate.
Ow, ow, ow.
I love you, Romola.
Don't say, but it actually hurt.
On the palate.
Oh my gosh. This is all
Again, very Ardmore, but someone like set some ferns on fire. Fudgy, barnyardy peat, with kind of a halo of potpourri, burning herbs, burning ferns, burning twigs, burning other houseplants. It's kind of something like that. But there's some fruit on this.
Oh man.
Marmalade, burned peach, burned mulberry, white pepper. This is an obscure reference. Lemon chocolate. Mariano's around here used to have a really, really good in-house, like lemon peel dark chocolate thing, which I absolutely loved, and then they just discontinued it. But this kind of brings that out for me a little bit. It also has a little bit of a Snickers bar thing going. There's some like nuts and nougat thing happening. This is very solid. Modes and Niggles. It's Romola. I'm glad you're here. I love you. Please let me do my reviews. This is how I oh, that's the microphone, hon. Leave that alone. That is the shotgun mic. Okay. Let me finish this class, and I'll help you, and I'll pause it, and then I'll help you out. If I were to complain about this a little bit, it's a little bit not lacking in mouth presence. The finish, the peatiness hangs on okay. Everything else fades pretty quick. Mouth feels is all right. Mouth length is all right. Could be better though. So we'll give this some water, and then I will pause, and I'm going to help my 6-year-old here. Squirt, and we will pause. Okay, I think she is happy for the moment, so we're going to move on to the Paul John. This is Paul John McGold. And it's actually the first batch they made. It's batch number 1 from May 15 or 16. I think that's a 16. Paul John, of course, one of the 2 big whiskey producers in India. But a fun bit of trivia for you. Paul John, unlike its competitor, Amrut, which is independently owned, Paul John in Goa is actually owned by one of the kind of big multinationals. Can you guess which one without checking? Is it maybe United Spirits? One of the big players down there in South Asia? Is it maybe Diageo? Sazerac. It's a Sazerac brand. One of the few sort of outside the U.S. Whiskey distilleries that Sazerac owns. It's like this in Canadian Mist, as weird as that sounds. So, just one of those weird details of the booze industry. And it also means, by the way, if you are an observant Jew, this probably is not kosher, having to do with Sazerac ownership and and Jews having to sell off chametz during Passover, and the owner of Sazerac not doing that. It's one of those. It's just one of those things. And when I did my kosher spirits review, I did point out that rule and thought, oh, there's no way this is ever actually going to apply. But it applies to pretty much all Sazerac products that are not explicitly marked kosher. So be aware if that applies to you. Otherwise, this is a peated Indian single malt whiskey. Now, interestingly, unlike Amrut, which is sourcing peated barley directly from Scotland, these guys are sourcing just the peat blocks from Scotland, doing the smoking themselves with their own 6-row barley, and then doing everything else in-house so far as I can tell. Ex-bourbon, so far as I know, circa 60 years old, 46%, probably unchill filtered, but they don't put it on the bottle anywhere. And on the nose, it's peaty, but also very tropical. So it's not super duper mega peaty, like we're talking Bowmore levels here, maybe Lagavulin levels. I mean, in some ways, this is reviving memories I have of the old Lagavulin 16, back when they were still using mostly reused hogsheads. So you got that kind of like swampy peat plus like orange kind of character. This is a little bit doing that a little bit. It's maritime peat but it's also like pineapple, chocolate orange, Earl Grey tea. But there's also a little bit of like a masala chai thing going on. There's a little bit of cardamom, cinnamon, ginger. I guess you could make masala chai out of Earl Grey. I just wouldn't want to try it. But there's a little bit of that going on. Kiwi. Some graininess, some cream of wheat happening. Wildflower honey. Little touches of floral, like a little hint of rose water. I keep thinking food, I'm sorry. Kind of an allspice thing. It smells a little bit like jerk spice, like jerk chicken or something. Oh, and like some apple pear too. Mostly pear, really. On the palate. Okay, so it's very yummy. It's got very similar energy to the nose. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the finish and the mouth length, because I thought it was okay, but it feels like it's weird. Hold on. It's funny. It feels like for like half a second, the mouth lengthiness is okay. It's starting to tickle my tonsils, and then it's just all gone. It all kind of recedes back to the front of my mouth, like molars on forward. That's very unusual. But it's yummy. So peat, seashells, but then chocolate orange, vanilla, pineapple, Earl Grey, chai, honey, tons of honey, Turkish delight, that kind of like jerk chicken, jerk spice thing. Kind of like some cream of wheat with pear slices, something like that. Kiwi, black pepper. Little clove. What is that? Yeah, it's like back here, and then it just fades away. It's very yummy. It's maybe a hair short in the mouth, maybe a little bit simple. And normally I wouldn't say that for this particular combination of like tons of tropical stuff with peat. Normally that would indicate a certain degree of complexity, but it's not. There's a little bit of like a, we're not quite reaching knee deep into those flavors yet, but it's good. Just that gets a squirt of water and we move on. This is a whiskey I really forced myself to buy because I wanted to give the style a chance. This is the Rozelieures. It's a 2013 single cask, 10-year-old. It's cask number G141, and it's an Ex-Vosne Romanée barrel, which is probably the most prestigious general area for Pinot Noir in the world. It's in the Côte de Nuit in Burgundy. It doesn't say this is one of the Grand Crus or anything, but this is high end Pinot Noir, and it's one cask, 125 bottles, which seems like not a lot of bottles. And so the distillery is not named Rozelieures. That's the name of the town, but the distillery is Grallet-Dupic. Again, apologies to France. And so I bought this, 50.4% by the way, it's cask strength, because I spent a long time thinking that red wine maturation was bad. And now I want to test a hypothesis that, well, maybe red wine maturation isn't bad. Maybe it's just the finishing in red wine that goes for a couple of months. Maybe that's just the bad thing. So I bought this from, a French distillery. It's Alsace. It's a little bit further north than Burgundy. That's spent its entire life in what should be, on paper, a really darn good red wine cask. And we're just going to see how it goes. And it's a very interesting nose. It's a much more reserved nose than I was expecting. It smells like malted milk balls with like a strawberry glaze on top. But then you're going to cover that with like black pepper and black tea leaves. And I certainly don't hate it. It's austere, but gotta say it's a little bit pretty too, but very understated. There's like some lemon peel, dried cherry, dried strawberry, kind of some wet leaves in there. But something grainy too. You know what it smells? It smells a little bit like raisin bran. Honestly, in a good way. Believe me, I have done like carbo loads where I will just grab a box of raisin bran and put like half of that damn thing away just because I want the calories. All right, on the palate. Oh. I don't know if I like this, but from a formal point of view, this is really good. It's complex, it's punchy, It holds on for a long ass time. I'm not sure if I like it though. Let's try this again. So, yeah. Ooh. Intense black tea leaves mixed into raisin bran. Not just raisin bran. There's like some Captain Crunch in there too. There's some Special K strawberry, but like extra strawberry, extra dried strawberries in there. And some dried cherry too. Wet leaves, black pepper. Oh, what is... I'm forgetting the name, but there's a sweet Thai curry. This tastes a lot like whatever I'm thinking of. I'm sorry. It's not Massaman. It's not the red one. It tastes like a sweet curry. Really good mouth presence. Very, very well made. It's in balance. It's complex. I'm just not sure if it's my thing. In some ways, this is... We're kind of on the same level as that the Flag series, Guyana, that spent all that time in the port cask. Formally, this is really good, but I don't know if I like it on the palate. One more time. Yeah, I meant to spend. I should spend more time with this because, I will get questions on the channel like, what is the spirit category that you don't like? What do you tend to avoid? And I'll like hem and haw and pretend like there isn't one a little bit, but this feels like one where we're encroaching in that territory. It's very good. It's gonna score pretty high. It might win the flight. We'll see. But it's totally not my thing. But I'm gonna see if I can warm up on it. Let's restart the flight though. Back to the Eifel. With water. I mean, it just smells entirely like caramel raisins now. Like the cream sherry and particularly the PX aspect of it has really come through. And I don't hate it. It kind of works with this. Yeah. Again, the Swanee, the word Swanee keeps coming to mind. It's so clean and so fruity and happy, except for the cask character, which is in this case also like fruity and sweet and nice, but has a certain grunge to it as well. Like the herbaceousness hasn't completely pulled away on the palate. Caramel raisins, all caramel raisins, but there is like a kind of a sour red fruit / black pepper thing that makes its turn on the end and gives us a little bit more character. And I think this works. I mean, especially for Binny's closeout shelf prices. I have no reservations recommending this one. Yeah, so... I mean, when I say Swanee, you probably know the style, but it's a good example of the style. I'm going to give this an 85 swan emoji out of 100. And let's move on. Oh, I'm eager to see what water did to this thing. Gouden Carolus, as weird as I was finding this Rozelieures, this might be the weirdest whiskey in the lineup, this thing here. On the nose. It wasn't really coming through before on the nose, except for maybe a little bit of that kind of aniseed clove thing. But now we're starting to get the funk. The kind of, Belgian ale thing. It's happening. This really smells like someone made a car bomb from, they took a shot of coulis, good coulis, super nice coulis, and just dropped it into, a glass of triple, and that's what this smells like. And I think I like it. I think. On the palate. Oh. Yikes. It gets very austere on the back end. There's a little bit of ganja coming through. A little bit of, pot, and maybe not the best pot in the world happening on the back end. But there's still, but what this has in its favor is it's very fun. It's very different. And, if you, like me, occasionally just Jones for an Irish malt / Lowlands sort of style, this may do it for you even with that weird twist on the back end. Gets a little bit too much for me. It throws it off balance a little bit for me with water. I'm going to call this an 85 minus plus a beer emoji because I feel like for a certain kind of audience, they're really going to be into this. And I feel like that audience probably likes doubles and triples and stuff. Okay, back to the Goldcock. This is a fun episode. I think Ramla's painting over there right now. Ooh. On the nose, with Goldcock peated, we have got more fruit now with water. It's bringing out mixed berries, peach, apricot. This is... You can tell it's still a little bit young, but this is sort of low-key awesome. I'm really into this. On the palate. So here's the scenario. You buy this as a joke. It's got the funny name. It's got the weird glass cork thing. It's funny. And, you figure you're just going to break it out with some friends. You'll all have a good laugh. If it's really terrible, you can just mix it with 7-Up or something. And then you pour it and you taste it. And it's a really damn good malt. Oh, water brings out the fudge, and it brings out more fruit. There's even there's legit some plum Slivovitz notes coming through now. I'm not joking. I don't think that's psychological. I think that's just part of the show. It's kind of in there with the apricot and the peaches, a little bit of pear. This is lovely. The finish is hanging in pretty well. Could still ask a little bit more from the mouthfeel, but for the price, this is fantastic. No joke. No need to qualify with a silly emotion. This is an 86-point whiskey. 86 friggin' points for Goldcock Peated. Wow, and for under 40 euros, definitely worth keeping your eye out for. This is terrific. Okay, moving on. Like I was saying that the Spey Fumari or whatever was a good deal. Forget that stuff. Buy this. All right, moving on to the Paul John. She's back. Hey, Ramon, what's up? Okay, she's asking me to pause it, so I'm going to pause it. Okay, we're back again. I promise to stick her out after this, so we're going to finish up quickly. All right, Paul John Bold, again. On the nose, with water. We're bringing out more fruit on this as well. Kind of more of like a peaty apple pear juice thing happening. Gummy worms, some kiwi. I mentioned kiwi before, didn't I? Yeah, it's like, a peaty fruit party. I don't know what's... It works pretty well. On the palate. You know what's annoying? Probably all these are going to be like in that kind of like 85 to 86 kind of range. This one, it does sweeten up with water. It brings out some sweetness. It's very yummy. This is a very yummy whiskey. But it also feels like, especially on the finish, it feels like it falls apart a little bit. That's not the right way of putting it. The finish feels one-dimensional to me. Weirdly enough, it's not just the kind of structural elements. It's not just tannins and pepper and that stuff. There is a line of like pear and kiwi that continues, but that's kind of all that holds on. I feel like it was more complex without water. I mean, it's still really good, especially for, if you can get your gift set for silly prices now that we're almost a decade into it. It's not going to win the fight, though. I think this is, in terms of absolute score, being as objective as I can be in terms of scoring stuff, I think it's about at the same level as this Gouden Carolus. Except where this is for maniacs and weirdos, this is much more accessible. Assuming you're into this combination of like intense tropical fruit plus peat. If that sounds like your thing, and it's cheap, give this a shot. 85 minus for the Paul John Bold. And let's finish up. Oh, I'm darn curious to see what water does to this. Rozelieures, Vosne Romanée again. On the nose. I mean, okay. This one has also brought a little bit more of a sweetness to it. It's almost like a strawberry candy thing now. Or like an exotic strawberry curry. Something like that. The problem is just running into is it's almost, I think I paid, over 70 euros for this, which is almost twice as much as some of the rest of these. And I mean, the nose is really interesting and kind of beautiful in lots of ways. But I have to keep thinking, is it better than the cheapies? And I don't think it is, but we'll see on the palate. The sweetness comes out. It's like, I mentioned Frosted Flakes on another one of these, but I'm going to bring it back. It's like Frosted Flakes and like super bitter black tea and strawberry. But also like beyond strawberry, it's like strawberry candy. This is a super duper tough one to score. Because stylistically, it's very different from a lot of what I go for. And I still don't think I like it that much. But it's... there's no denying the quality on this. I'll call this an 86 plus. I do think this wins the flight. That being said, if I were to pick one that I thought was the value winner here, it's the Goldcock Peated. As silly as the name is, as much as I hate the glass cork, yeah. So it's what are we? So yeah, your winner is the Rozelieures, although it's the most expensive thing here, 86 plus. Goldcock Peated, 86 flat. And then and then Eifel at 85 with some kind of emoji, swan emoji. And then these two, the Paul John and the Carolus, both at 85 minus, and the Carolus also got a beer emoji. And that is your video. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned a thing or two, maybe had a few laughs. And I'm going to go entertain my daughter. Thanks for watching, and cheers.